The human delegation had arrived only a day ago. It was the first official visit between Earth's Unity Command and the Valari Empire, an ancient alien race known for their powerful minds, elegant culture, and strict traditions. Most humans knew the Valari from history books. Few had seen them in person. Fewer still had spoken to one. One young human, Leo, was part of the communication crew. He was not a diplomat or warrior, just a calm voice operator who helped translate signals and monitor messages between ships. He never expected to leave Earth, let alone stand on a Valari sky palace orbiting a distant red star. While waiting for orders, Leo had wandered through the polished white halls of the Valari stronghold. Their architecture was tall, smooth, glowing softly in blue and silver patterns that changed with the time of day. He was curious, a little too curious maybe. He followed a narrow path marked with strange symbols he didn't understand, meant private ceremonial zone. At the end of the path was a room with high pillars, silent as a temple. In the center stood a figure. She wore a flowing robe that shimmered like water and moved with quiet grace. She had pale blue skin, soft features, and eyes that reflected starlight. A glowing crest floated above her forehead, proof of royal blood. Leo froze. He knew who she was, Princess Kalia of the Valari. She turned. Her gaze landed on him, sharp and cautious. She raised a hand in warning. "You should not be here, human." Leo held up both hands, stepping back. I didn't mean to intrude. I was just walking, I got lost, I'll go." But the princess didn't call guards, she didn't shout. She stared for a moment, studying him as if unsure whether to believe him. There was something different in her eyes. Not anger. Maybe sadness? "You are not like the others," she said finally. Leo tilted his head. "The others? The ones who came before. The ones who saw me as a weapon or as property or as nothing at all." He blinked. "I don't think of you like that. Honestly, I didn't even know what to expect here. But this place, it's beautiful. And so are you." The last words slipped out without planning. For a second, silence took over the entire chamber. Kalia's eyes widened. "Beautiful," she repeated, like it was a word she hadn't heard in years. Leo scratched his head awkwardly. "I mean it. I don't know your customs or titles, but when I saw you just now, you didn't look like a princess. You looked lonely." Her gaze softened. The royal pride in her posture shifted, just slightly. "You're bold, for a human." "Maybe," he smiled. "Or maybe just honest." She gave a small breath, half sigh, half laugh. Then she looked past him. "You should not be here, but I won't report you. Go now, before others come." Leo nodded, but hesitated. "Can I ask, why were you here? Alone?" Kalia looked at the arch above them where sunlight through glass drew patterns across the floor. This place was built for bonding rituals. It's where Valari once chose their partners, not through politics but through connection. But that time is long gone. Now everything is decided for us. Leo said quietly. "You don't get to choose your life partner?" She shook her head. "No. I am to be promised to a suitor from House Sereth, an arrangement to keep the peace." "That's awful," he said without thinking. She looked at him again, curious. "Do humans marry by choice?" "Most of us, yes," Leo replied. "We fall in love. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's ours to choose." Something deep flickered in her eyes. Longing, perhaps. Then footsteps echoed down the hallway. Kalia's expression changed instantly. Royal calm returned. She turned from him and whispered, "You were never here." Leo nodded and backed out quickly, returning the way he came. Later that night, as stars lit up the sky outside his small guest room, Leo couldn't stop thinking about her. Not just her beauty, but her silence, her eyes, and the way she stood, alone in a place made for love. He had never spoken to a royal before, never imagined one might feel trapped like anyone else. And far above him, in the silent upper levels of the Sky Palace, Princess Kalia stood once more beneath the arch of glass, touching her fingertips to her lips where the words still echoed. Beautiful. No, one had called her that in years, and the one who did and was human. After that first unexpected meeting, Leo could not get Princess Kalia out of his mind. He knew it was dangerous to be curious about the Vailari princess. Their people had strict rules, and any contact between humans and Vailari royals was forbidden, without permission. Yet something about her loneliness called to him. Leo decided to try again. This time he took careful steps to avoid guards and censors. When the palace was quiet, he slipped through the halls and found the secret path that led to the ceremonial chamber. Kalia was waiting. "You're braver than I thought," she said softly. Her eyes still held that strange mix of caution and hope. "I don't want to cause trouble," Leo said. "But I want to understand you. Your world." Kalia nodded. "Very well. I will show you what I can." Over the next days they met in secret. Kalia led Leo through the parts of the palace no visitor saw, gardens that floated in zero gravity, ancient libraries filled with glowing books, halls that whispered with the voices of ancestors. She explained the Vailari traditions, their rules of honor and the weight of royal duty. Leo listened and asked questions. He shared stories about Earth, about its cities, oceans, and the freedom humans had to choose their own paths. "You speak of choice like it is a treasure," Kalia said one evening, staring out a window at the red star. "But for us, choice is a burden. It brings chaos." Leo smiled gently. "Maybe it does, but it also brings hope." Their time together was fragile. Both knew discovery could mean disaster, but they could not stop. One afternoon, while Leo was helping Kalia practice her speech for an upcoming council meeting, the palace guards burst in. Alarms rang loud and harsh. Leo was grabbed roughly. "You are under arrest for unauthorized contact with the princess," a guard announced coldly. Kalia's face paled. "No, let him go. He means no harm." But her words fell on deaf ears. Leo was taken away, locked in a small cell with only a narrow view of the stars. Inside the cold room, Leo felt a mix of fear and determination. He knew this was serious. The Vailari court would not tolerate a human so close to their royal family. But he also knew that Kalia's spirit was stronger than anyone expected. Meanwhile, the princess was summoned before the High Council. The leaders of the Vailari Empire, proud and stern, demanded answers. "Princess Kalia," the chief elder said, his voice deep and echoing, "explain your association with the human Leo. This is a betrayal of your house and your duty." Kalia met his gaze with quiet strength. "I will not deny it. I chose to speak with him because he sees me as a person, not a prize," the council murmured in shock. "You jeopardize our alliances and traditions," the chief elder warned. "You will be bound to House Serath as planned. There is no room for personal feelings." Kalia bowed her head, but did not break. "If I am to be bound, it will not be by force." Word spread quickly among the Vailari and human delegations. Rumors of the princess's secret meetings with Leo fueled tension and gossip. Some humans whispered that Leo was reckless. Some Vailari saw Kalia's actions as disgraceful. Leo, still confined, wondered if their brief friendship would end in ruin. One evening, as he stared into the endless space beyond his cell, a soft voice spoke through the intercom. "Leo, do you understand what you are risking?" It was Kalia. "I do," he replied without hesitation. "Then promise me one thing. No matter what happens, remember that choice matters, even if others say it does not." "I promise," Leo said firmly. Kalia returned to her private chambers, feeling torn. She looked at the ceremonial robes laid out for her, robes she was expected to wear for the bonding ceremony with her arranged suitor. "Is this my future?" she whispered to herself. The thought of marrying someone she did not love made her heart ache. Then, a decision formed in her mind, a dangerous one. If she truly wanted to change her fate, she would have to defy centuries of tradition and fight for her freedom. Back in the cell, Leo was given a brief chance to send a message to his superiors. Instead of pleading for rescue, he wrote only one line. "The princess is not a symbol or a prize. She is a person, and I will stand by her, no matter the cost." That night, Valari watchers guarded the halls, waiting for the ceremony that would mark Kalia's engagement. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The princess and the human had changed the course of their worlds, and nothing would ever be the same. The grand hall of the Vailari Palace was filled with light and shadow, woven by towering columns that reached up like fingers to the high glass ceiling. Hundreds of important figures from across the empire gathered there, dressed in their finest robes and armor. It was the day of Princess Kalia's official bonding ceremony, a public event to announce her engagement to a powerful suitor from House Serath, the family chosen by the High Council to strengthen alliances. The air was heavy with expectation. For many, this ceremony was more than tradition. It was a symbol of order and control in a galaxy full of change. The princess's face was calm, almost serene, as she walked to the center of the hall. Her pale blue skin glowed softly under the ceremonial lights, her eyes fixed straight ahead. Leo stood among the human delegates, confined to a small viewing area behind thick, transparent barriers. His heart pounded. This was the moment Kalia had been forced to face, on a moment that would decide not just her future, but theirs both. The elder presiding over the ceremony spoke in a voice that echoed through the hall. "By the decree of the High Council, Princess Kalia of the Vailari is to be bonded to Lord Koresh of House Serath. Their union will bring peace and prosperity to our empire." Whispers rippled through the crowd. Then something unexpected happened. The doors to the hall burst open, and a figure stepped forward. It was Leo. The guards gasped and moved to stop him, but Kalia's sharp gaze halted them. Leo raised his voice, steady and clear. "If the princess is to be bonded, it must be by her choice. I stand here now to claim that right." The hall fell into shocked silence. Kalia's eyes widened. No one had ever dared interrupt this sacred ceremony, especially not a human. The elder's face darkened. "This is an insult to tradition. How dare you?" "I am no traitor," Leo said, stepping closer to the center where Kalia stood. "I am here because I believe she deserves to choose her own path." Kalia looked at him, tears gathering in her eyes. For a moment, the weight of centuries of expectations lifted. Her voice was soft but strong. "Are you really choosing me, even knowing what it means?" Leo nodded. "Yes, I choose you. Not as a prize, not as a symbol, but as a partner." A murmur rose among the nobles. Some faces showed surprise, others scorn. House Serath's representatives scowled, clearly angered by this challenge. The elder banged his staff on the floor, demanding order. "This is unprecedented. The princess is bound by duty. No human may claim her hand." But Kalia raised a hand, silencing the crowd. "I am more than a symbol," she declared. "I am my own person. This union cannot be forced." Her words sent a wave of whispers and gasps. The human delegation watched in stunned silence. Leo's bold act had shaken the very foundations of the Vailari court. In the quiet that followed, Kalia stepped forward and took Leo's hand. The crowd gasped again. "You risk everything," she said quietly. "So do you," Leo replied. "But if we stand together, maybe we can change things." The elder leaned close to the princess and hissed, "This will bring chaos. Your family, your empire. They will not accept this." Kalia met his gaze unflinchingly. "Then let them try." Word spread quickly across the empire and the human worlds. The news of the princess's defiance and the humans' claim to her hand was both shocking and inspiring. Many Vailari were divided. Some believed in the power of tradition and feared change. Others admired Kalia's courage and saw hope for a new future, one where humans and Vailari might truly understand each other. Leo was soon released from his cell, but he was closely watched. The palace was no longer safe. Political forces, moved swiftly to challenge the unexpected alliance. One evening, as Leo and Kalia met in a quiet garden floating high above the planet's surface, she spoke with a heavy heart. "I fear for my people's acceptance," she said, fingers trembling slightly as she held his hand. "And for yours. This union may bring enemies from both sides." Leo looked at her, steady and calm. "We cannot live in fear. If we do, we lose who we are." Kalia smiled, the first real smile in days. "You are brave, human. And you are stronger than you know, princess." As the night deepened, they heard footsteps approaching. It was the captain of the royal guard, a stern woman who had once doubted Leo but now looked at him with new respect. "There is talk of an assassination attempt," she warned. "You must be careful." Kalia's face hardened. "Then we face it together." That night an unseen enemy tried to strike, but Leo stood between the attackers and Kalia. His quick thinking and courage saved her life. The royal guards, witnessing his loyalty and strength, began to question their own beliefs about humans. For the first time, some Vailari saw humans not as weak or dangerous, but as capable allies, perhaps even equals. The trial was not over. A secret faction loyal to Kalia arranged for the two to escape the palace. Their goal was clear: to prove their bond through the ancient Rite of Flames. This ritual was designed for soulmates to face their deepest fears and emerge united. If they passed, the Empire would have no choice but to accept their union. If they failed, exile awaited. Or worse. As they prepared to leave the palace under cover of darkness, Kalia looked at Leo. "Whatever happens, thank you for choosing me." Leo squeezed her hand. "Always." Under the cover of night, Leo and Princess Kalia moved swiftly through the palace corridors. The shadows were deep, but their determination burned brighter than any light. They had to escape the watchful eyes of the High Council and the royal guards loyal to the old ways. A secret group of Kaelia's loyal followers had prepared a hidden ship to take them away, far from the palace and closer to the place where the ancient Rite of Flames awaited. As they stepped into the cold night air, the weight of their situation settled over them. This was no longer just about a forbidden relationship. It was a rebellion against centuries of tradition, a challenge to the power structures that ruled their worlds. Kalia looked at Leo, her pale blue skin glowing softly under the moonlight. "If we fail the trial, we will be exiled. No one will protect us." Leo nodded. "And if we pass, we change everything." The small ship hummed quietly as they boarded. It was old by human standards, but reliable, built for speed and stealth. The loyal guards sealed the doors behind them, and with a soft roar they lifted off. The journey to the sacred valley where the Rite of Flames was held was tense. Neither spoke much, each lost in their thoughts. For Kalia, the trial was a test of her heart and spirit. For Leo, it was a test of his courage and commitment. When the ship finally landed near the valley, they were greeted by a circle of ancient stones carved with glowing symbols. The air was thick with energy, and the sky above pulsed with strange colors. An elder Vailari approached them. His eyes were kind but serious. "The Rite of Flames is not just a trial. It is a journey through your deepest fears and truths. Only, together can you pass." Kalia and Leo nodded, ready to face whatever came. The moment they stepped between the stones, the world around them changed. The sky darkened and they found themselves in a strange landscape, a mirror of their memories and fears. First, Kalia saw visions of her childhood. The cold halls where she learned her duties, the faces of those who expected her to be perfect, the loneliness that never left her. Tears fell as she relived the moments she was forced to hide her true self. Leo took her hand. "You are not alone." She smiled weakly. "I'm afraid I never really had a choice." He shook his head. "You have it now." Then the vision shifted to Leo. He saw moments from his past, the loss of friends in battle, the times he doubted himself, the fear that he was not enough to protect those he cared for. Kalia squeezed his hand. "You are stronger than your fears." Leo took a deep breath. "Because I have you." Together they faced their fears, the shadows of doubt and pain that had held them back. The trial tested their bond, asking if their trust was real. After what felt like hours, the landscape shifted again. This time they faced a final challenge, a blazing wall of fire that separated them. They had to step through together, trusting each other to be safe. Kalia hesitated. The flames were fierce and bright, but Leo smiled. "We face it as one." They stepped forward hand in hand. The fire felt hot but did not burn them. Instead, it felt like a cleansing light, burning away their doubts and fears. When they emerged, the sky was clear. The ancient stones glowed with approval. The elder Vailari returned, smiling. "You have passed the rite of flames. Your bond is true." Back at the palace, word of their success spread quickly. The emperor himself came to see the proof of their bond, the sacred flame symbol that appeared on their hands after the trial. The emperor's face was unreadable as he looked at the marks. Then, slowly, he nodded. "This union is lawful," he declared to the gathered nobles and citizens. "Princess Kalia and Leo shall be bound as partners." Cheers erupted from the crowd, Vailari and humans alike.
Many had feared change, but this moment brought hope for a new era. Kalia stood beside Leo, her hand in his. The weight of her crown no longer felt like a burden, but a symbol of freedom. She looked at Leo and whispered, "Now I believe it. You
chose me, and I choose you." Leo smiled warmly. Always. Together they faced a future where two worlds might finally understand each other, through love, courage, and choice. The days after the Rite of Flames passed were filled with excitement and uncertainty. The Vailari Empire had witnessed something no one could forget, a human and their princess proving a bond strong enough to challenge old laws and ancient traditions. The story of Leo and Princess Kalia spread like wildfire, stirring hope and fear in equal measure. At the heart of the empire, the palace buzzed with energy. The emperor's decision to recognize the union was both brave and risky. Many nobles whispered in secret, unsure whether to accept this new path or resist it. But Kalia felt a calm she had never known before. Standing beside Leo, she was no longer just a princess bound by duty. She was a woman who had chosen her own life. The morning of the official bonding ceremony arrived, a celebration different from the one planned before. The grand hall was filled with faces from both Vailari and human worlds. There were dignitaries, warriors, scholars, and citizens all gathered to witness history. Kalia stepped forward, dressed in a new robe that sparkled with silver threads and symbols of unity. Her eyes shone with pride and joy. Leo stood by her side, humble but confident. His hand found hers, and the warmth they shared was clear to all. The emperor raised his voice, steady and commanding. "Today, we witness not just a union of two souls, but a union of two worlds. May this bond bring peace, understanding, and strength to the Vailari and humanity alike." As the ceremony began, Kalia took a deep breath and spoke. "For too long I was a symbol without a voice. Today, I choose my path, not because tradition demands it, but because my heart leads me." She turned to Leo. "You chose me when it was not easy. You saw me for who I am. That choice gave me courage." Leo squeezed her hand. "I will stand with you always." The crowd erupted in applause. Some faces were still skeptical, but many were smiling, hopeful for the future. After the ceremony, Kalia and Leo walked through the palace gardens, now open to the public for the first time in centuries. Children from both worlds ran freely, laughing and playing under alien trees and earth flowers. Kalia watched a young Vailari child and a human boy chase each other, their laughter mixing in the air. "This is the future," she said softly. "Where differences are celebrated, not feared." Leo smiled. "Where choice is a right, not a chain." They paused beneath a glowing tree, its leaves shimmering in blues and greens. Kalia leaned her head on Leo's shoulder. "I never imagined I could feel this free." "Neither did I," he said. "But here we are, changing the stars." In the weeks that followed, the The bond between Kalia and Leo became a symbol of hope across the galaxy. Humans and Vylari began to work together in ways never seen before, sharing knowledge, culture, and friendship. The old rivalries softened, replaced by cooperation and respect. The Empire began to open its gates to other species, inspired by the courage of a princess and a human who dared to love beyond limits. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the palace, Kalia and Leo stood on a balcony overlooking the city below. The stars above twinkled like promises waiting to be kept. Kalia smiled, her eyes reflecting the light. "Do you remember what you said the first time we met?" Leo chuckled. "That you were beautiful?" Kalia laughed softly. "Yes, but more than that. You said I wasn't what others said I was. You saw me." "I still see you," Leo replied. She turned to him, her hand reaching up to touch his cheek. "If you hadn't spoken that day, I might never have found the courage to choose." He held her hand gently. "And I will never stop choosing you." Their journey was far from over. Challenges remained, and the future was uncertain. But together, they had proven that love and choice could break even the strongest chains. The alien princess and the human explorer had changed two worlds, not through war or power, but through the simple, brave act of choosing each other, and that choice would echo across the stars for generations to come.